It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. We is he over there, Eric Harley, me over here, Gary McNamara. Hello. We, me. Those are our pronouns. Yeah. Well, there it is. A couple of headlines yesterday. White House tames expectations for Trump-Putin summit. This is a listening exercise for the president, said White House spokesperson Karoline Leavitt yesterday. So,
yeah, I mean, it appeared that yesterday, at least, they were really trying to temper expectations as to what might come from Friday. There's not going to be anything from Friday except for determining what the next step will be. And that will be, all right, does it even make any sense to bring Zelensky to the table here? I don't see anything happening if there's going to be a deal without Zelensky and Putin being in the same room eventually. And we'll see if that happens. But Friday is probably, Trump is saying, and he repeated it a couple of times, basically saying he'll know almost right away if they're going to be able to get a deal done, just being in the room with Putin. And, I'll kind of leave that to President Trump. On foreign relations, I'm going to let him take the reins because he's done a good job. And now, I don't know what his read on Putin is, what that means, what he's looking for, what the signals will be, if he's also talking about, what he might learn leading up to those moments when they enter the room together. It appears the meeting's going to be in Anchorage. So we don't know what time on Friday that's going to happen. But the question will be, again, what should you expect from a meeting like this? They got into more of the land swap deal. And President Trump saying, well, it's complicated. There would be, this land for that land. And, there are certain resources that each of them want or whatever. And I thought, let's just start with Friday and see where it goes. The thing is, you can't really trust Vladimir Putin. There is zero level of trust. Now, is it reasonable to believe that he's getting tired of this war or that the war for him occupying or attacking, rather, Ukraine is working for him or working against him? We know that morale is down. You're losing so many soldiers. Ukraine, it was believed right away, Ukraine probably wouldn't last long. Early on, no one thought Ukraine would be able to fight off Russia, but they've been able to so far. Not that everything has been a success story for them. Well, but at some point, I think you're going to lose if you're a Vladimir Putin. It stands to reason. I don't know if we're at that point now, but it stands to reason that at some point you're going to lose your will to keep going.
Well, there's a difference between a country like Russia and a country like the United States, where we poll all the time, what do the people think? Mm-hmm. We have no idea what the people, because what you're talking about is domestically, how long is this palatable for Putin? Right. And no one knows. Right. No one really knows. You don't have sources inside the government that are constantly leaking, as we do here in the United States, that are constantly leaking to the press as to, what's going on. And that's why it's such a tough call, because when you look at anybody's negotiating position, you always have to look at, everybody does for the president of the United States. Any country wants to negotiate with the president of the United States, they look at the polling. And they look at polling that they believe is reliable. And it's not just, can the president sell this to us? Can the president sell what he's doing to the American public, irrespective? I'm not talking about Trump. I'm talking about any president out there or any politician out there. It's, we've seen, well, look at the perfect example when you don't pay attention to the polls.
Yeah.
And to the ones that you believe, that would be your internal polls. The 80-20 number.
Right.
When you don't pay attention to what the public actually is saying, it gets you in trouble. Now, when it comes to Russia, who knows? Mm-hmm. There really isn't a lot of coverage. You don't really have a lot of reporters who want to be over there, even international reporters that are reporting against Putin.
Right.
Next thing you know, you get what? Arrested.
Mm-hmm. And
so you just don't see it. So there's a lot that we don't know as to what's going on. I did, though, hear Trump say that he's going to tell Putin about this couple he knows, the Haleys. And the Haleys want peace.
Yeah, they don't like
in Ukraine.
War.
Yeah, they don't like war.
They don't like war. Well, he likes war, but he pretends not to like war to appease his wife.
Billy Haley was quoted as telling Trump, "War, what is it good for?"
Exactly, and then she followed up with absolutely nothing.
Listen to me.
Say it again. It's.
By the way, I did post that whatever that was from John Oliver on Chuck Schumer and his imaginary friends, the Bailey. I did put it at Gary at Red Eye 1 on our X page.
It's, in fact, in recent hours, for some reason, it's been flooding social media. It's just so funny to watch. And weird. It's just weird. It's been his crutch. It really has been his crutch.
When you go through
when you can make it up as you go along, that's the whole thing. He's, because I said, it wouldn't be weird to come out and say, all right, these are the stats. This is what women voters of this age did. This is what this is what families making this income did, and this is what they think on the issues. Well, no. Much easier. You got the Baileys. Make it up as you go along.
Well, I mean,
weird.
I saw over the weekend, I forgot which Democrat it was. The president's having cognitive problems. Let's first examine Chuck Schumer before we even approach Trump.
Well, I want to know. In fact, I think the reporters should approach the Baileys and ask them what they think.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Of Chuck Schumer's issues.
This just in, Jim Acosta will be interviewing the Baileys.
Yeah. Got 2 bottles of Bailey's Irish creams. Let me ask you.
They'll do a hologram.
Oh, my gosh.
Use AI to create this couple.
If the Baileys were real, here is what they would say.
That'll be Jim Acosta's next interview. Oh.
Thank you, Jim, for having us.
Oh, somebody had, I think we did read it National Review. It was somewhere. We're like, what the hell is this?
I mean,
what in the God's world is this?
Weird.
I still can't get over that. To me, I still think that's one of the greatest leaps into insanity that we've seen the media get into.
Yeah.
And somebody who was, let me finish my sentence here, well respected on the left.
Yes.
I want to make sure.
Key words there. On the left.
On the left, right.
Yeah.
That thing last week. But that's a great idea. Hey, Jim Acosta, if you're listening, we have make-believe people that you can interview.
Right.
In fact, you could have an AI figure of Chuck Schumer and then the Baileys with him.
Yeah.
That's still the most bizarre thing I've ever seen, ever, coming from a reporter. Has he tried to defend it in any way?
I didn't see anything. Maybe I missed it.
It's been quiet, but Jim Acosta interviewing an AI hologram of a young man who was killed in the Parkland school murders a few years back, and interviewing a hologram on gun control of the young man who's been dead for years now.
Not a presentation where he says, well, his parents created this AI hologram, and they think this would be his message if he were still alive today. And so we're going to play that message for you, and then we're going to discuss gun control. No, he did a full-on interview.
I can't wait for the next Democrat or media person. That Donald Trump is weird.
Yeah.
What's your standard?
Well, why wouldn't Jim Acosta come up with an AI Donald Trump? This is Donald Trump if he were actually telling the truth.
Oh,
and then it just goes off and is insane.
But these people are they're so odd. I mean, they're so seriously. And you and I remember we talked about Comey when the Comey thing was he's odd. And then we started looking at Democrats going, well, they're odd.
They're just all weird.
I may disagree with Republicans out there at times and sometimes passionately, but there is a certain, we talked about this the other day, how it's impossible to communicate with them, based on the things that they attempt to justify, and if your mind is crazy, does it affect your appearance? Do you end up sounding and looking crazy? Yeah. I mean, but for Schumer for Acosta to be interviewing a hologram as if the hologram of artificial intelligence is alive when it's scripted and it's a sentient being that he's talking to who's actually communicating back and forth to Schumer with his imaginary friends that he loves, and they've guided his political career, and he's made it all up in his head. This is Class A, #1 weird of all time.
Yeah. Just weird.
And
just bizarre.
To think, I wish I could be a little kid today instead of a little kid, 60 years ago. Because if someone came up to me and said, McNamara, you're a little weird, blankety blank, I'd say, look at Schumer, look at Acosta. What are you talking about? I'm fine.
Right.
I had no reference point back then. I felt a little hurt. I had no reason to be hurt.
Well, I don't wake up every day going, I want to be weird today. But if I did, I'd have a little more wiggle room now and not really stand out. I could be pretty weird and then go, yeah, you think I'm weird? Look at them. That's not my goal every day to be weird. Sometimes it just happens. But I don't wake up saying #1 on the list.
And didn't anybody ever come up to Schumer, like his family or friends, and say, look, dude, stop with the imaginary people.
It's just getting strange.
If you did it once, that would be one thing. But you've been doing it now. pull him aside.
Yeah.
What is he, second cousin to Amy Schumer or something like that?
Yeah, something
Amy,
like that.
Look, you're really weird, but your second cousin has just lost it. Yeah. Could you please have a talk with him and tell him, please, you got to cut out the imaginary friend thing. You're going to be the Senate Majority Leader.
Yeah.
You can't have imaginary friends.
Right. Stop.
Don't tell them, please, for God's sakes, don't tell them about your security blanket, Linus. Shut.
It's just bizarre.
Do they have friends or relatives that ever say, stop it?
That must be a very awkward scenario. That must be a very awkward scenario. Because I think, if I were doing that for years, and then I went back home, hey, Dad, hey, Mom, how's it going? This is, listen, we
Eric,
have some questions for you. Mind having a seat? Is this some kind of intervention, Mom and Dad? What's going on here? want to talk to you about the Baileys. Oh, yeah, great couple. Great couple. Known them for years. They drive my entire career. Yeah, that's what we want to talk about.
Our entire radio career has been driven by our imaginary friends.
Now, son,
who we love.
Son, you went out and you bought a 15-passenger van. Well, the Baileys are a big family. I take them with me everywhere I go.
So you may want to check out the John Oliver piece on Schumer and his imaginary friends.
Pretty funny.
And if you think we're exaggerating in any way, we are not.
No, we're not. No.
We are not exaggerating at all. This is not clickbait.
No, it is not.
Well, it is clickbait, but you will be rewarded.
Oh, you're going to want to click on it.
Yeah.
Good. You're going to want to watch it.
Yeah, it's click reward.
Yeah.
866-90 Red Eye.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by House Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
How to summarize the western wildfire season to date. USDA meteorologist Brad Rippey says compared to previous years,
this year we have had quite a few large fires, and even the Dragon Bravo fire in Arizona topping 100,000 acres, getting very close to that threshold with the Cram fire in Oregon. But we haven't seen those clusters of wildfires that have led to the widespread regional degradations in air quality.
With weeks to go in the wildfire season for most of the West,
we have seen wildfires burning less than 4 million acres. Still a formidable number, but that is less than the 10-year average of approximately 4.4 million acres that we expect to see nationwide by this time in August.
Yet Rippey adds conditions remain ripe for potential western wildfire activity for the remainder of the summer and into the fall. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. Thank you so much for being here. Coming up following the bottom of the hour, a couple of audio cuts, which is really interesting because we played yesterday. One, I think it was one was a ABC anchor, an ABC News live anchor, which is the streaming service, who talked about how she'd been a victim of crime and how much crime she'd seen. I think another one was a Fox News anchor, wasn't it? Yeah, another was a local Fox News anchor.
Yeah.
There's a couple of more, including Scott Jennings, who saw somebody shot and killed this year. Like, my gosh, I've never seen so many. We got another reporter also that was talking about the number of crimes that he has seen since he's been there in D.C. for 15 years. Just fascinating. We'll get to that. A new poll here. A new poll, New York City Democratic mayoral nominee Zoran Mamdani maintains a hefty lead in the race, polling at 44%. Governor Cuomo, 25%. Republican Curtis Sliwa, 12%. Mayor Eric Adams, incumbent, 7%.
Ouch.
Mamdani, 44%. So you could take right now, you could take Cuomo, you could take Sliwa and Adams, and they all don't add up to what Mamdani has right now.
Well, looks like New York is on their way.
On their way.
Full-on communism. New York City. Good luck.
You're listening to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. So when you see the Mamdani poll, you're like, wow. George Will is right.
Mm-hmm.
Let him do it.
No, that's...
America needs to go through...
Have their little experiment.
America needs to go through socialism just to basically clean the slate so we know what works and doesn't work. We actually have to experience capitalist free market economics and socialism every once in a while because everybody wants to buy into the BS of socialism. Yep. Not everybody, but a significant portion. And it's growing in the Republican Party. Yep. And so the only way you learn is to see that it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so go ahead. We need the socialist cleansing. It's what the idiots want. Excuse me, morons. I'm sorry.
Morons.
Yeah, you clarified it's morons,
right.
Not idiots.
Right.
You. Earlier in the show.
Yeah.
You can go back and listen on our podcast later on to that exciting exchange. So Mamdani with a 19-point lead. And if you add up all the other candidates in, they still don't match Mamdani. And even if they did that, you saw the one poll where they took everybody else and went head to head, and he gains, and if it's head to head, he's over 50%.
Yeah.
Right. I think the closest he was in the poll I saw when they went head to head was like 10 or 12. Now, head to head, that could change down the road. If you go head to head, if a couple drop out, you never know.
Right. Yeah.
And but it seems like, when you're a communist and you believe in socialism, Marxism, and communism, to promote the fact that the guy you're voting for is a commie, that's not going to change your vote.
Yeah, I mean,
because everybody's wondering, well, how come they've been pounding on Mamdani for the things he wants to do? Because that's what the morons that want to vote for him in New York, it's what they want.
Yeah.
They want this. And as we've stated before, understand how radical the Democratic Party is. For all those who say, politicians don't do and work for what the people want. Yeah, they do. And that's what's going on there. When you see... Right. We saw the poll just a week ago. In some areas, it's a plurality. It's at least a plurality. And in other areas, a big majority of Democratic voters want criminal, illegal immigrants roaming the streets of their town. And that's why you had Democrats jump on Trump and the whole D.C. thing, the old D.C. crime thing, because they're like, well, look, we're okay with criminal illegal immigrants. We need to make it fair. Citizens of the United States, Democrat citizens of the United States, we need to be legally part of the purge, too. Excuse me. Purge 3.
Yeah.
Democrats run your city.
No. Oh, my gosh.
The purge isn't for a day. It's for a lifetime.
Well, no, that's the thing. The movie would be Permanent Purge, right?
Permanent Purge.
The Permanent Purge, by the way.
I like that.
That would be a great, great sequel.
I like it.
Not just another day. It just becomes permanent at a certain... So there is no return to safety. Or, as we call it, living in D.C.
Or just a repeat of the Denzel Washington movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Book of Eli.
Book of Eli.
Well, except there's no salvation or Bible quotes in there at all.
Yeah.
The theme would be different.
Did you hear Denzel was talking to Stephen A. Smith about the Cowboys? Saying that he's not happy with the way, basically the way Jerry Jones is not thinking of the fans. And he's a fan. He's a Cowboys fan. Denzel is. And so he was telling Stephen A. Smith, they were on promoting this new movie he's on. And he said he's not happy with the Cowboys owner because I respect him as the owner, but not all money is good money. And, it basically repeating what a lot of fans think. You're messing up your own team.
Well, look, you're invited to come aboard.
Yeah, where?
Well, I mean, Bills fans are saying now that because of Josh Allen, the Bills are America's team. So why don't you come on to the good side?
You know what? I will say, I do root for teams, that if the Bills can finally get one, I could see myself rooting for the Bills on that Super Bowl Sunday.
Just because of my happiness?
No, that wouldn't be it. Oh, dang it. Now you ruined it.
Well, you know what I figured out? I mean, if they wanted, I go, it's about time.
Yeah.
Why?
So what?
Why? For God's sakes, it's about time. I mean, there'd be an expectation after, 7 years of Josh Allen. Come on, finally.
Yeah.
Because I figured out the whole Scotty Scheffler thing, especially after last week when he slammed his club and he was talking about winning not being everything. That's because people like us, we hate losing more than we love winning.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you win, there's sort of a expectation. Well, I did everything right, so I did everything right, and finally I did everything, I prepared, and so we won, and it's great. Losing my whole life. Now, I've learned to temper that as I've grown older. A lot.
Yeah. Well,
but losing still. My team losing over my team winning. If my team wins, it's like, oh, good. Okay, they won. Yeah, it's about time. Okay, I feel good. They lose. Losing personally or the teams that I like has always hurt more than winning has brought me joy.
Yeah.
It just does. It just, and I don't know if that's the competitiveness. I haven't analyzed myself on that one yet. But when Scotty Scheffler was saying winning isn't everything, I go, why do you compete? Why do you compete? Because you hate losing. And when he slammed his club last week, when he wasn't performing to expectation, and he said a couple of things, why can't I get a decent lie? It's like he was angry. It's like, see, he hates losing. That's what it is.
Yeah.
He wins. It's like, okay, good. Yeah, well, I prepared. I did everything right. But, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've always, and it was funny because I talk to a lot of athletes. I say, what do you like better? I mean, what hits you harder? Do you hate losing more than you love winning? I met so many athletes that said, absolutely, that's what keeps me going. I hate the losing.
Right.
There's an expectation that I prepared when I win. When I lose, it's like, no.
Well, that's it. The joy from winning lasts, a few days. The pain from losing seems eternal.
Right. But then again, I've been a Bills fan, for what?
Ever.
60, it would be, it's 60, 61 years. Because I remember their first championship in 64 in the American Football League, and then in 65, I remember their championship when they beat San Diego, the Chargers again, for the AFL championship. Then the next year, Kansas City beat them to go into the first Super Bowl in 66.
Yeah.
So I've been suffering a long time. Maybe that clouds my perspective of winning and losing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Losing for 60 years this December 26th.
Yeah, so
that,
if they
that
do
was
win the
their
Super Bowl,
last championship.
It really is going to be a, so what? Now do it 60 more times.
Right, exactly. Make up for all that. That's what it is. My teams have never won anything, so of course losing is going to affect me more than winning.
Of course.
Because I never win. All right, so here we go. I want to play this because I thought this was really, really interesting. How many reporters, you and I had talked about this when Biden was president and inflation was so high, and the reporters were still going after him. And I said, something, some of those reporters make millions, but most of them don't.
Right. Yeah,
most of those reporters don't make it.
No.
And you see members of Congress that struggle. They got to bunk with somebody else to make it because it's so dang expensive in Washington, D.C. And you and I said they actually feel the inflation, so they can relate to it a little more, even if they're Democrats.
Right.
And the same thing, you and I played two anchors yesterday, one on ABC, the other one from Fox, that had personally actually been attacked and have seen so many crimes, they knew what the problem was themselves. It continued yesterday. Here's one reporter talking to Karoline Leavitt about it.
As a D.C. resident of 15 years, I lived on Capitol Hill. I witnessed so many muggings and so much theft. I lost track. I was carjacked. I have murders on my Ring camera and mass shootings. I witnessed a woman on my block get held up at gunpoint for $20, and my house was set ablaze in an arson with my infant child inside. And so to any reporter that says and lies that D.C. is a safe place to live and work, let me just say this. Thank you. Thank you for making the city safe, because no parent should have to go through what my family went through, having the fire department rip open their door to save their infant child.
Wow. Here's Scott Jennings yesterday talking about what he has seen just recently.
You know, a few months ago, I was in Union Station and saw a body hit the floor at the bottom of the escalator in Union Station because there was a murder right in front of me. Up on the second floor, I was going to get a tie, and I heard the shots and saw the body hit the floor. So I've been listening all day long to people trying to make some argument that Washington, D.C. is a safe place. It's not a safe place, and we can argue about statistics and numbers. There's a police commander right now on suspension because there's some allegation that the statistics have been altered. But we can argue about that all day long. Nobody in their right mind who lives there or visits there on a regular basis would tell you that Washington, D.C. is safe, and everybody who goes there knows it, and everybody who goes there knows it. So is there really going to be a resistance to have any kind of people on the street just looking out? That the kid that worked at the White House, when he got jumped by the 10 kids in the street gang, it was only because 2 cops saw it that he was able to escape.
They keep wanting to fight it. They keep wanting to fight the argument that it's beyond me. Now, they had to stop it because they weren't winning the argument.
Well, and that's really what they, as a collective, the entire group on the left has had to do over and over again. They can't keep it going because they really can't make the point. You know, it's when I joke and said, boo, safety. I mean, that's essentially what you're doing. How do you counter that? Gary, he's talking about watching somebody being murdered. My gosh. And as you mentioned earlier, how many reporters have witnessed crimes? Now, we see things on the news all the time, but in D.C., they're witnessing the crimes firsthand because it's happening so much, because it's so prevalent. There's no way to counter what Trump is doing.
It was amazing to see just so far the number of reporters who've actually experienced crime, and it was fascinating to see, especially we'd played the audio cuts earlier in the show. Go back and listen to our podcast because we played them, I think, early in the first hour of the Morning Joe on MSNBC. Mm-hmm. And Morning Joe coming on and said, Democrats won't tell you publicly, but privately they're happy this is all going on because they know the crime's there. They all know it.
Yep.
And they just want to pretend it's not. Think about that. You live in a city. You work in a city. It's the nation's capital. You know there's out-of-control crime, and you don't want to talk about it because you think it'll hurt your political ambitions.
Yeah.
How do you live that way?
I don't get it.
866-98 Red Eye.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
We are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. So, of course, I go to the lead headline of the Babylon Bee. Democratic mayors report violent crime down 40% since they redefined the terms violent and crime. They're now calling it gain of function research.
Right.
Gang of function, maybe.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Then the other one here. Jerome Powell says he won't lower interest rates until he can be sure it won't help Trump.
Exactly.
We'll see what happens there. The expectation is for the now rate lowering in September.
Yeah, well, you have some analysts going, yeah, it could be a half a point. Slow your roll. It's Jerome Powell. He's not serious about anything. It could be a quarter of a point, maybe.
Well,
if they hold steady in September, my gosh, I can't imagine. Because CNN last time said, oh my gosh, he totally missed it.
Yeah.
Totally missed it on the last meeting.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.